welcome to Reflection, where we delve deep into the conversations that matter most. Today, we're tackling a crucial topic: consent and boundaries, part two. In our ever evolving world, understanding and respecting personal boundaries and consent is more important than ever. Whether in relationships, workplaces, or everyday interactions, knowing how to communicate and uphold these principles is essential to fostering respect and mutual understanding. Join us as we discuss the importance of setting healthy boundaries and share practical tips on how to navigate these critical aspects of our lives together. Together, we're going to reflect on personal stories, expert insights, and real life scenarios to help empower you to create and maintain respectful and meaningful connections. Let's start this vital conversation and reflect on the soul of consent and boundaries. Welcome to Soul Reflection. This program is sponsored by Kingdom Keys Chapel, and we would like to give a great thanks to Prophet Isaac for giving us this platform and to the members for hearing us as we discuss this. We're just going to go on a short commercial break and we will be back.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why I pray? Or how about why being kind is super important? We will laugh, we will learn, and we also have a blast together. Join us as we dive into these awesome topics and more.
Get ready for interactive games, special guests, and plenty of surprises along the way.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it up. I'm gonna let it shine.
Welcome back to Soul Reflection. I would like to introduce you to my panelists with me to do this discussion. There's Tracy, and seated next to me is KEZIAH. Okay. So we're going to continue with our discussion from about 3 weeks ago, which is consent and boundaries. Today we're going to be tackling recognizing and respecting boundaries. I'd like to pose the first question, which is, what are personal boundaries and how do they vary from person to person?
What I got was that personal boundaries is a certain person's limit or space that they wish to maintain with other people around them. And they vary because everyone is different and are comfortable with different things. So obviously their own boundaries will differ from another person's boundaries.
Personal boundaries are limits and rules someone sets for themselves within a relationship. And personal boundaries from person was accept something and another person accept that same thing.
Okay. Yeah, exactly in line with what you guys said. everything that's personal is obviously unique to each and every body. So it's exactly in line with what you guys said. That's my thought on that. Um, do you guys have any examples of certain personal boundaries you guys have, or you have set, or you've come across someone else having?
You can have like boundaries in terms of like people maybe touching you or even being too close to you or the comments that they can make about you. Like those are, some examples I can think of.
Yeah, linking to Keziah's point, I think making boundaries like the way that people speak to you. For example, you might not want people to comment about, I mean, make comments that would affect your mental state. I think, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So personally, I have boundaries in terms of how I speak to people. So I come or I approach people in a very mannerly way, and that kind of sets a boundary to them for them to kind of speak in that same order with me as well. Okay, so the next question is, how can you identify and communicate your own boundaries to others? Tracy, would you like to tell us your opinion in that first?
I think you can allow others to ask you questions to identify your personal boundaries. For example, if there are any individuals that make you feel insecure, angry, or negative feelings after spending time with them.
Okay.
You can firstly establish what makes you uncomfortable and what you would like your boundaries to be, and then you can respectfully and firmly like let people around you know like this is what I like and this is what I don't like. So like please respect it. And yeah, I think that's a good way.
Okay. Um, why is it important to respect others' boundaries, even if they're different from your own?
Um, because you should reciprocate how you'd want others to respect your own boundaries. And just because their boundaries are different from yours, doesn't mean that their, boundaries or what they feel uncomfortable with is insignificant. So like you should always respect it and let them know that, you appreciate that they don't like what they've said that they don't like.
I think it's important to respect others' boundaries because it helps to determine what is and what is not okay in a relationship, and also helps to build trust and intimacy.
Okay. Do you guys not think sometimes it's quite difficult to really, some people find it quite hard to establish their own boundaries, and sometimes they don't even know what exactly it is. But do you guys think it's kind of difficult when it comes to setting boundaries, like especially like people our age, or I mean, you guys' age?
Yeah, because maybe like the person might not feel that they can tell the other person that, what, this is what I would appreciate that you didn't do. Like, I feel like some people might find it hard to do because they might think they're being rude or, it might be an uncomfortable conversation to have with someone. Yeah.
How about you, Tracy?
Yeah, linking to Keziah's point, I think it's harder for people our age to express their boundaries because they fear that they might make other individuals feel uncomfortable about their own boundaries.
Yeah. I also think that it also depends on culture because in certain cultures, certain ages are not permitted to necessarily speak up or kind of express themselves as much as they may want to. So, for example, in the Ghanaian culture, there's an age disparity where children are not allowed to kind of speak to the elderly or express themselves too much to the elderly. So, do you guys think that kind of plays into being able to set your boundaries and things like that?
Yeah.
Have you guys had any experience with such a thing? Okay, I have had such a great experience with that thing my whole life. But I'm growing, so you know, changes can be made, and through self reflection, we're able to be more self aware and able to delve deep into this so that the elderly that do watch kind of understand um, that they have like adverse effects on the younger generation through certain things. Okay, so we're going to move to the next question, which is what should you do if someone crosses your boundaries or if you accidentally cross someone else's boundaries?
Like if someone crosses your boundary, you should simply just reiterate your boundaries to them and let them know that they've crossed it. Respectfully though, like you shouldn't come across like in a passive way. But if you accidentally cross someone else's boundary, I think you should apologize and try not to cross the boundary again. Like become self-aware and recognize that what this person has made it clear to me that they don't like when I do this or when other people do it. So let me respect that and respect them and not cross that boundary again.
Yeah.
I think if they accidentally cross the boundary, I think you communicate your boundaries to them again, so that they're aware about your boundaries. But if someone crosses your boundary and they know that they've crossed it, I think you shouldn't allow them to cross it. You should tell them that like you have crossed the boundaries and you should them and do it.
Yeah. In my experience, when I was growing up, when someone does cross my boundaries, because I wasn't as self aware as I am now, and I wasn't so expressive, usually I'll just not speak to them for a bit. It just used to be bad. It's a very bad character or attitude, but it's just you get a bit of a um, silent time, quiet time, and then I don't know. I think as we grow, obviously, you guys are very mature for your ages because me, I'll just, kind of, you broke my boundaries, so I'll kind of like relax and not really be as hyper when I see the person. And also, when I kind of break somebody's boundaries, of course, I would apologize. But then sometimes, what if it's a game or when you're playing with someone or you're just teasing a friend and they say they don't like that? Because sometimes you're not too sure. It's a very fine line. So I guess I'm just trying to say that like maybe we should pay more attention and we should be much more vocal and expressive because that helps. Communication is always key, as you guys have said. Okay, so I think we can take a quick commercial break here, and then when we get back, we will tackle the rest of the questions.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why I pray? Or how about why being kind is super important? We will laugh, we will learn, and we also have a blast together. Join us as we dive into these awesome topics and more.
Get ready for interactive games, special guests, and plenty of surprises along the way.
Shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it up. I'm gonna let it shine.
Welcome back to Soul Reflection. We're discussing consent and boundaries part two. The next question I want to ask and I would really appreciate if you guys kind of go into detail, is can you give examples of physical, emotional, and digital boundaries and how they differ?
Physical boundaries, obviously, like maybe touching someone, being too close to them. Emotional could be like what we talked about before, like not liking being called names, like people speaking about your appearance or something like that. And then digital, I would say like maybe on social media, being called, spam texted, things like that. People might not like that. And they all differ because obviously physical, that's like in person. Like emotional can be both like in person and online, and digital is like digital, obviously. And yeah.
Linking what yeah, I think physical is just like with your body, but, like you will not someone's touch will be close to you. Emotional will be again what we previously talked about, making comments that would affect your mental health. And then digital boundaries would be things you might not want to social media. For example, you make limits to like posting or comments. And I think they all differ because physical is your physical body, and then emotional. I think emotional comments can lead to effect with mental health like depression or anxiety, and then digital boundaries. I think they're just social media.
Yeah, okay. So it's my examples are exactly in line with what you guys said. I think a physical one can be a hug to maybe a stranger or someone you're just not comfortable with, or maybe them pulling you somewhere or playing with maybe your cheeks if you have chubby cheeks, something like it's just them having physical contact with you and you not liking it. So it's obviously physical. Then emotional can be anything psychological that plays with your mental health or plays with your emotions. And that can go from, as you guys said, teasing, calling you names, insults, verbal abuse, even comes in play here. And then the digital boundaries. We're aware that certain social media platforms, maybe for example Instagram, um, has this feature where you can, um, I don't know, I haven't used Instagram in such a long time, but like you can kind of pick and choose who can add you and who can unadd you. So it's your profile is not public. That when someone adds you, they just become a follower, but rather if you accept their request to be a follower, so that kind of sets a boundary, which is quite good. So with these examples, as you guys said, they differ in different ways because digital is obviously through devices, and then physical is obviously um, what we can see with our eyes because it's body contact, and then emotional is psychological because it can be mental and it can also affect our emotions. So we're going to go to the next subtopic, which is navigating relationships with consent and boundaries. Um, so for the first question is, how can you foster a culture of mutual respect and consent with your friendship groups?
I think naturally, like in friendship groups, like your friends might communicate to you that there's certain like their dislikes and their likes. Like you will know that because that's your friend, and then as that friend, you need to be able to respect that. This is what my friend likes. This is what they don't like, and obviously use your your mind and trust that. Yeah, trust yourself to like actually respect them and acknowledge like their feelings and how you could possibly hurt their feelings if you don't respect their boundaries and vice versa. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, we can foster a culture of mutual of mutual consent with your friend group by demonstrating a respectful behavior on a daily basis, so that they'll understand that you you should respect everyone in your group. And also, avoiding using language that um, or crossing boundaries.
Okay. So for me, I think I have a couple of examples. So in my day-to-day life, I I think definitely communication is key, 100%. Another thing that I personally do is I listen out for things that other people do to my friends or things um, they deal with on a daily basis. So when they tell me that this is something they deal with or someone they deal with and this is what they do not like, I kind of pay attention to it and then make sure that I don't step on their toes by doing the exact same thing. And then um, also, it's easier to communicate that way as well. But this only works with someone that has um, a bit of common sense to kind of read the room and understand things when you're saying it virtually than kind of directly to them. So that's another way of navigating relationships with consent and boundaries. The next question is, what are some ways to check in with a friend or partner about their boundaries and comfort levels? Okay, I think I'll answer that one first. So, um, especially in the UK, ever since I came here, I realized people always ask each other, "Are you okay?" or "Are you all right?" Which I think is a really good question, which is very important because in like 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, someone is asking that when they're around you, which is really good because where I come from, nobody cares to ask that. Nobody cares to find out if the space you're in is comfortable enough unless they really like you. So I think that's this country has that culture of consent and boundaries, which I really appreciate.
Like the example you gave before with the previous question, on how if your friend is in a situation with someone else and you see the way that that person maybe treats them or has said something to them and how your friend reacts to that, but that's a good way to like ask your friend that why did you feel offended about what this person done, and you can take that upon yourself and think, what, won't do that to my friend. Or maybe where you're in a situation with your friend where you're maybe unaware and you say something or you do something that makes them feel uncomfortable, you can later on ask them like, so what's happened? It's not always them having to communicate to you, oh, I didn't feel comfortable with you doing this, or I didn't like how you done that. Maybe you should go and tell your like ask your friend like how are they doing, like you said before, what made you feel that way. I think that's a good way to establish boundaries in a friendship as well and understand your friend.
Yeah, I think what you're saying also plays in line with what I had said about common sense.
Mhm.
Like you can read the room, you can read their body language, and then you can then follow on to go into detail, as you said, to find out what it was and how it
Mm.
made them feel and why. Okay. And Tracy?
I think linking to both of your points, asking a friend if they feel comfortable in a certain situation will help recognize or acknowledge their comfort levels.
Okay. So the next question is, how do power dynamics, age, for example, age, authority, gender, how do they impact consent and boundaries? I had mentioned previously that in Ghanaian culture, age is like age is like very important. So everybody cares more about the older person and what the older person is saying than maybe the boundaries that a child may have. So that was an example. What else have you guys kind of noticed, or what do you guys have to say about that question?
I feel like in terms of age, especially and authority, like people who are older than you feel entitled in some way. So maybe if you do communicate that you don't like something, they'll probably just maybe ignore it and just think, oh, you're just a child, you don't know what you're talking about. Or like if you tell someone that you don't like something, they might obviously ignore it because they think that they know better, and like I said, the entitlement, like they feel like they should be able to do what they want, like in terms of you. So you telling them that you don't like it, oh well, basically type of thing. Same goes with authority, like maybe a teacher, you could tell a teacher, what, miss, I don't like this or that, and they could ignore you and completely disregard your feelings because they're of a higher, more status than you. Yeah.
I think unequal power dynamic the relationship of consent because they feel like they have more power, so they'll be able to force consent or force you to accept um do something in such situation where you may not want, but because of the power they hold, may not take your consent.
Yeah. So that I think that's something that I really noticed in Ghana, but at least in this country, I think it's a bit better. As I said, the cultural differences are very, very unique and very, very significant. So that's my 2 cents to that. Moving on to the next question. What role does body language play in understanding consent and boundaries?
I think body language is smiling or maintaining eye contact by the individual has given consent.
Okay. So in line with what you said as well, you can see from maybe facial expressions or someone shifting themselves away in a certain situation or isolating themselves from certain people or certain crowds. Um, you can see that only if you pay attention and only if you have the common sense to kind of react appropriately to that, to understand that that's kind of like a boundary being set or being a little bit more self aware. So I think body language does play quite a huge role because it speaks volumes where there isn't much speech going on. How about you, Kiz?
Like you said, because for me, for example, I feel like if I feel like a boundary has been crossed, like especially like in a friendship group, I will just completely ignore you. I know it's bad, but like until I feel comfortable enough to let you know what you've done, or if you come to me first, like I'll just put you on timeout. Like I'll air you for a bit, and then once I feel comfortable, like once I feel ready, I will then confront the situation. Stuff like body language that really does indicate that you've maybe offended someone or you've crossed the boundary. So I think that's something to really look out for. Like if your friend is a bubbly and extrovert person, maybe you do something or you say something to them, and then suddenly they're quiet, they're not really talking to you, responding to you. You should ask them like what's going on because you've clearly done something wrong or something has happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. So I think that our final question for now, before we kind of share experiences or our overall thoughts on this topic, is how can you support a friend who has experienced a violation of their boundaries and consent?
I think it depends on the type of violation that is, but either way, just be a support system to your friend. Like, be that friend that they can come to you and vent to, and you can give them advice on how to deal with the situation. You can maybe share an experience so that they don't feel like it's only them and they don't feel isolated. Yeah, I think that's a good way.
I think you can be clear to tell them make limits. Always be afraid to follow through consequences.
Yeah. I also think that you can be onto them what you wish someone would be for you. So yeah, just be there for them. There's some friends that may not necessarily may not be able to express themselves. They might want to sit in silence. They might want to watch a movie and have a snack. They might want to cry. They might want to go for a walk. So just being there for them, and especially those that want to vent as well, just being there for them and just listening. Sometimes they don't necessarily want you to sympathize, they just want empathy because sometimes they may be going through something that you may seem to know very well. So you may be kind of adding, oh, I experienced that, or I knew this. But then sometimes they may feel like you're taken away from their experience. So depending on your friendship, your relationship, your connection, and what you know about them, you can be there for them according to how they wish for you to be there for them. So we're going to go on a quick commercial break and then come back with our final thoughts on this topic.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why you pray? Or how about why being kind is super important?
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why you pray? Or how about why being kind is super important? We will laugh, we will learn, and we also have a blast together. Join us as we dive into these awesome topics and more.
Get ready for interactive games, special guests, and plenty of surprises along the way.
Shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it up. I'm gonna let it shine.
Veiling the spirit beyond the youth.
In a world where authenticity is rare and connections are caved, welcome to Soul Reflection, revealing the spirit beyond the youth, the talk show where hearts are open and souls are seen.
The whole purpose of this talk show is to help guide us on the journey of self-discovery. This talk show is also meant to help strengthen our mindset and for us to learn new things about the Word of God.
In this generation, it's important for the youth to be just as invested in God spiritually. This is why joining the talk show will help benefit you in ways you didn't think was possible.
This talk show will take place live on Facebook and YouTube every Monday starting from 7 p.m. Please do join this talk show.
Soul Reflection, unveiling the spirit beyond the youth. Don't miss it.
Soul Reflection, don't miss it.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why you pray? Or how about why being kind is super important?
Welcome back to Soul Reflection. In this short period before we end, I'm going to read a few of the comments on Facebook and on YouTube as well. So the first comment we have is from Sika Papibi. She says, praise God, praise God, praise God, and gives us some fire and some prayer hands. So God bless you guys, as she's saying. Martha Braco says, God richly bless you all with hearts and clapping hands. And then she also says, wonderful. Bernice Antobre says, fantastic show. She's encouraging us to keep it up. Thank you so much. Anita Piazza says, this is good. God bless you all. And then she gives us some more tips on how to set boundaries. She says, you need to communicate to them directly. Don't go behind them to others. That's gossiping. On this, with this comment, I think it's quite important because it truly is gossiping when someone does something to you and you don't necessarily speak to them directly about it, because that's another form of not setting boundaries. Some people don't really like to be spoken about by other people, especially when they're not in the presence of that group. So thank you guys so much for commenting on all this and for the support. God richly bless you all, because you guys keep making the show go on and you keep encouraging us. Now I'd like to ask my colleagues what their final thoughts are on this topic.
I would say always respect another person's boundary, the people around you, your friends, family. Don't feel entitled to overstep somebody else's boundary, and stand firmly on your own boundaries that you set for other people, and don't let anyone step over them. Like, let people know what you feel comfortable with, and if they don't respect that, then go about how you wish to, in terms of in a positive way, obviously. And yeah, that's what I've got to say.
Okay.
I would say don't be communicate or address your boundaries, especially if someone ever crosses them, because if you didn't communicate your boundaries with them, they'll never know if they've crossed it or not. And also, I think you should not be scared to tell people boundaries if you may hurt them. I think just to be better than just to be mad at them.
Okay. So I also think that it's important to communicate. Communication is the first step to setting boundaries by telling someone what you do not like or do not appreciate and what makes you uncomfortable. Also, as Mrs. Anita Piazza had said, it's best to speak to the person directly than to tell someone else. Um, I think it's acceptable when you're much younger and you speak to a parent or someone you're close to or comfortable with about how to set a boundary regarding someone else. So if you're kind of telling your parents about something your sibling did or your cousin did or your auntie did, I think as a child it's good. But as the growing youth, it's good for us to have our voices. It's good for us to be vocal. It's good for us to be able to also read a room and detect when we're crossing someone's boundaries. So thank you all for joining this discussion. God richly bless you for watching. I'd like to say a big thank you to Kingdom Keys Chapel for giving us this platform, especially the head of the church, who is Prophet Isaac, for giving us this platform and for allowing the youth to have a soul reflection where we get to speak and talk about deep topics that make us more self aware in this world. Thank you all for joining, and God bless you.
Looking for some fun and faith-filled entertainment for your little ones? Introducing the Little Light Show, an ultimate destination for the young hearts seeking inspiration.
Hey friends, have you ever wondered why you pray? Or how about why being kind is super important? We will laugh, we will learn, and we also have a blast together. Join us as we dive into these awesome topics and more.
Get ready for interactive games, special guests, and plenty of surprises along the way.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Don't let Satan blow it up. I'm gonna let it shine.
Veiling the spirit beyond the youth.